In this video, I want to talk about why time management is a scam and what people are actually trying to get at when they say time management. Back when I was in university, I was on a college sports team. I trained, I studied a rigorous engineering degree. I also had a leadership role in my fraternity. I had a lot of different stuff going on, and on the outside, or according to a lot of different people, I was good at managing my time. And then that has continued on to when I took a full-time job and then built out what I have now during the mornings, evenings, and weekends, and then now stepping full-time into the coaching, the content, and everything that I do now with the podcast as well, while still maintaining a high level of physical activity. This morning I was up for a sunrise surf. Later I have a weight training session. I also do martial arts as well. So there's a lot of things that happen during my day, and a lot of people on the outside might use language like time management skills. But the reason that that is a misnomer in the first place is that you aren't actually allocating time. That is not the resource that you are in control of. Time is a fixed wheel that expands regardless of what you do. The way that I can prove this is just by telling you to stop managing your time and just observe whether or not the day goes by and the sun rises and sets. Time elapses regardless of our opinions of it. What we are actually allocating is our attention, and that is a finite resource. We can only allocate our attention to so many different things, and typically one thing at a time, which makes the amount of things in a finite, say 24-hour window, seem restricted. So more accurate than time management would be attention allocation. Where are you placing your attention throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the year that makes you have good quote-unquote time management? But someone who has bad time management and good time management, they have the same amount of time in the day. It's just simply who is more effective at allocating their attention to high leverage tasks, to things that give them fulfilling feedback, as opposed to making their life and the texture of their experience suck. This is also why I've never resonated with people and find it frustrating when people say that they're too busy or I'm a busy person. Like I encourage you to remove that language from your vocabulary at all, because busyness, first of all, isn't something to aspire towards. It simply just means you're moving around and doing a bunch of different things, kind of expending energy. But that doesn't necessarily mean you're being either effective or efficient, which are two separate things in and of themselves. I think you should aim to be effective, i.e. the things that you set out to do, you actually accomplish those things. Whether or not you're busy and you have a bunch of different things in the day, or you do one singular task during the day, is relatively irrelevant in the grand scheme of things, and it certainly won't get tallied on any sort of scoreboard that you're potentially hoping or looking for. Whereas accurately allocating your attention and learning to use it with extreme amounts of focus will make you extremely effective and will change the texture of your experience, because you'll be all in on each individual tasks, which means you'll be as present as possible and perform as well as you can in each individual thing, and really get to embody each experience one at a time, rather than having this disparate kind of spread attention where you're doing one thing but you're thinking about the next thing, or you're thinking about 2 weeks from now. You can actually truly just laser focus in your attention on one thing at a time. A quote that comes to mind is from Socrates, which is action expresses priority. At the end of the day, the things that you prioritize, whether you consciously know it or not, are the things that you do. The things that you actually take action towards and place your attention in, that is actually what you care about. So you may say you care about health, but if you're not showing up to the gym every day and you're not cooking your own meals, you're not nourishing your body properly, you're not sleeping, you're not drinking water, then that is not a priority for you right now. Your actions express your priority. The same can be true in relationships. If someone says, "Oh, I'm really busy right now," they're not too busy to see you. You just are not a priority on their list that goes above whether it's work or travel or whatever, or other relationships, whatever else they're putting in their priority strata. So this ties directly into you and how you're allocating your attention. Where you place your attention is, by definition, how you're prioritizing the value of the different buckets that you're pouring into in your life. So if you want to know what you prioritize or what you value right now before this video, take an itinerary of the last day or the last week. where did you spend most of your time? If it was at a job that you hate, you're still prioritizing that. That's high on your priority list. The calculus in your head, at least right now, is whatever amount of time you spent there is worth the return that you're getting. I would encourage you to always audit that. Like, is a week of your time actually worth what you're being paid? Maybe, maybe not, especially if you hate the experience going through that week. But you clicked on this video seeing the time management terminology, so you're hopefully or potentially looking for time management skills, which obviously I'm going to reframe and recharacterize as attention allocation strategies. The most effective prescription that I can offer, and I always hesitate to offer prescriptions because I think everyone has to figure out what works for them, but bar none, the most effective things that have worked for myself are two specific strategies. One is skeletal scheduling, and two are needle moving tasks, 3 lever activities per day. So skeletal scheduling is essentially taking what can be, I typically go by week blocks, and first thing you do on, say, a blank Google Calendar is take the whole week and first plug in the things that you are obligated to go to. Now, if you work at a job and someone's expecting you to show up, put those blocks in first because you have no other option but to show up to them. This also includes things like appointments, events, calls, meetings, basically something that you have no flexibility to move the time because it is an already agreed upon time. So what this does for you when you put in all of those non-negotiable events at the beginning is it creates what is essentially the skeleton of your schedule. You now get to see the fixed blocks where you're already going to be committed, but what you will also see is the gaps. And there typically would be some sort of repeating pattern. It's like, okay, every day at between 1 to 3 p.m. I have a gap, or every morning between 7 to 10 a.m. I have a gap, or every evening from 5 to 9 I have a gap. And now with the skeleton sort of outlined, both with the fixed and the open gaps, you can start to plug in the other things that you actually prioritize and want to pour your attention into that are elective for yourself. Things like training, things like recovery, things like reading, things like learning a new skill, going on walks, time spent in reflection, working on a side hustle, creating content, writing, anything and everything that you can imagine and you particularly and personally want to place your attention on. That's what can go in the gaps. And now that you've assigned those, you've created another version of the non-negotiable, like those previously committed to things that are events that you've committed to someone else. Once you put reading from 5 to 7 p.m. every day, that's a block that you now no longer can escape, and you must treat with the same respect as an appointment with somebody else. If you are going to show up, if you tell somebody you're going to show up to a meeting, you show up for them. But if you tell yourself you're going to show up to do reading, to do training, to walk, to meditate, then show up for yourself like you would show up for someone else. And the second of the two, the 3 lever tasks per day, pairs perfectly with the skeletal schedule, which is most of what you want to accomplish in life can kind of be boiled down to 3 really, really high leverage tasks every single day. And so if you always guarantee that you do at least those 3, then you can guarantee that you're stacking winning days, day after day after day, and you're going to accomplish the goal. You create essentially an inevitability that you're going to get the result that you want. This is going to be super dependent on whatever your goals are, whether they're physical, whether they're business related, whether they're creating content related. But for instance, for myself right now, I'm doing a daily YouTube challenge. I'm making a video every single day. So one of my daily lever tasks is recording, editing, and uploading a video. Because I know that if I just continue to stack those daily videos, I will eventually get the result that I want in that specific category. Other non-negotiable needle moving tasks is I need to move my body at some point and hopefully multiple times throughout the day. So I always have some sort of physical activity, whether it is going for a morning surf, going for a long walk, weight training, martial arts, hiking, anything. But I always make sure that there's something like that because that is a pillar and a non-negotiable in my life. And I know that if I just continue to stay moving, that is a high leverage task that will compound into my health and wellness and longevity over a long time horizon. And then another one for myself is learning. So whether that be allocating time to read, listening to a podcast, taking notes on a webinar or some sort of online course, I have to allocate at least like an hour of my day to teaching and improving kind of my mindset and learning about something new every single day. And again, it's not huge. I'm not going to go get an entire degree or learn a new language in a day. But if you stack that hour every single day ad infinitum, you will make it an inevitability that you'll accomplish what you're looking to do. So as far as allocating your attention, create the skeleton where you have your obligations that you can't possibly renegotiate, and then take some time and attention to define what are your 3 highest leverage tasks that you want to plug in every single day, fit that into the skeleton, and then you will have a bulletproof system for allocating your attention throughout the week, and you will feel like you have gained time back, and you will start living lifetimes in weeks and months compared to in the past where it seems like time is just flying by and nothing is really getting done. I hope this was helpful. I know it's extremely helpful for myself and some of the clients I've worked with in the past. If you're interested in more advice, tips, feedback, you can comment below and I'll respond, or you can DM me on Instagram. Subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys tomorrow.